We're excited to have Nate Sanders, Chief Experience Officer here at SchoolAI today. Nate, tell us a little bit about your background, your journey in AI, and what led you to work on what you're working on today.
I've spent most of my career in product management and product design. So started out as a designer, was really early at a few different software companies here in Utah, and then moved into product management and eventually founded my own company in 2019. It was called Artifact, and have been at SchoolAI ever since that experience.
Imagine I'm a very novice with AI and LLMs. Can you give like a beginner, intermediate, and advanced overview on large language models and AI?
AI in general? Yeah. So artificial intelligence is the product of teaching computers how to be able to accurately predict patterns based on showing them lots of different examples of those patterns over and over and over again. So that's probably the beginner 101 version. The intermediate would be, there are two major or critical types of machine learning. There's supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is where you give positive or negative examples of how those predictions will work to the computer, so they actually have a really good reinforcement of how that works. Unsupervised is you give a huge amount of data to be able to show and teach the computer just through observation and just through their ability to spot those patterns on their own, what those predictions should be. In today's parlance, with all the different technologies that we have, large language models are pre-trained or taught through unsupervised learning, which means that we give them a huge amount of data and they have to go learn all the different patterns about how we speak, how language works, things like that. And then we can actually use or inference them to be able to make predictions by giving them examples or feeding them examples of what we want to know out of them, which is a prompt, so they can make predictions on what words should come next. So for you as a teacher, it means that you can have a conversation with a computer about a huge amount of knowledge and intelligence that computer has seen before. So you can have interesting interactions and learn and extract all this interesting knowledge and intelligence that exists inside of these models.
So for someone who's never heard of SchoolAI, tell us what SchoolAI is.
So SchoolAI is the world's most advanced way to be able to understand what your students need. And we do that by using artificial intelligence to be able to help you with your own productivity as a teacher, as well as to be able to create really engaging activities inside of the classroom.
What makes SchoolAI so impactful?
I think the mission and alignment to connecting all the different stakeholders that surround the student's experience in and outside of the classroom. And as a company, the pure focus that we have on helping students get this really interesting personalized learning experience is what makes it impactful.
What makes SchoolAI different than just using ChatGPT, Anthropic, any other AI tool out there?
Yeah, there are a lot of really amazing artificial intelligence tools. However, every single ounce of the product that you will use with SchoolAI has been meticulously thought out and designed for teachers and students to be able to ensure that teachers are able to have really engaging experiences with their students, and to be able to help them be more productive and be able to get through maybe some of the minutia that takes them away from the classroom and those moments that really matter inside of the classroom.
Tell us about the biggest misconceptions of using AI in education.
Yeah, there's probably two big misconceptions that I see quite a bit. The first of which is that there's almost this default state, or that automatically it's going to maybe lead to cheating inside of the classroom. And I think teachers need to know that the models that SchoolAI uses and the way that we've built our products allows AI to be really adherent and follow the instructions of a teacher and their preferences to be able to focus on impact inside of their classroom. So that's one. The second, I would say, is that it's only for teachers right now. I know that there's a lot of uncertainty that surrounds the fact that this technology is new, but we know hundreds of thousands of teachers across the world right now are using this inside of their classrooms every day and creating really rich experiences with their students. And it can be intimidating, but we have tons of resources and ways for teachers to be able to get started in a really easy and accessible way.
What role does SchoolAI play in teaching students to use AI effectively and responsibly?
There's probably two main ways, one of which is we take the actual education very seriously. So our team is actively creating content, resources, education materials to be able to help you educate your students on how to understand artificial intelligence and how to use it productively. The other is in the actual product itself, is that we take the work that needs to be done in the product behind the scenes really seriously to be able to make sure that this is easy for students to be able to use, that it's not overbearing or not intimidating, and that they can start to be able to engage with artificial intelligence as easy as it is to be able to talk with their teacher. So making sure that that experience of working, using, and learning from AI is as thoughtful as possible. We take that whole process of design and building our products very seriously.
Talk to us about the technology and what powers SchoolAI. Is this simply ChatGPT with some stylized HTML around it? Talk to us about the bones and the engine that powers SchoolAI.
Yeah. So in a lot of different artificial intelligence products, every message that you might send to the AI, it will go to the model, it'll run the model and give you an answer back. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But with SchoolAI, we actually do a lot with every single message to be able to ensure that the answer that we provide to you or to your students is very thoughtful, adherent to your teacher's instructions, appropriate, it's safe, etc. Every single message. So there's actually a bunch of things that are going on under the hood as a process or a system for every message that we return back to you or your students. So there's a bunch of different steps and processes that we'll ensure is followed by the model, that every single message that gets back to you or your students is following those different criteria that I mentioned.
Talk to us about SchoolAI and as a company, as a technology, how you view student data and privacy.
Two big pillars for us around how we think about this entire process. The first of which is we follow all of the industry's best practices and standards and have certifications around our ability to keep data safe and secure. The second is when we are using artificial intelligence or when we are doing any sort of training with artificial intelligence, we take a lot of care to ensuring that there's no possible way for student data to be encoded or leaked into these models that we use every day. So that keeps student data safe, it keeps it secure, and we can run as a really great, sophisticated software firm for all of our customers.